All right, guys, let's move over to the NFL. Ian Rappaport broke some interesting news on Tuesday, tweeting that the Panthers are now planning to move forward with Cam Newton under center this season. Rappaport and most other talking heads have anticipated that the Panthers would be moving on from Newton via free agency or trade all offseason, but now things may have changed. Head coach Matt Rule said at the Combine that he'd love to coach Cam and he expects him to be on the roster in 2020, although no Panthers brass at the time has explicitly stated that he'll be around. All right, Jay, do you believe Cam Newton will be the Panthers starting quarterback next season?
I want to preface what I'm about to say by just giving a shout out to the one and only Rap Sheet. I think does a fantastic job for the NFL Network. Between him and Adam Schefter, that's where I get a lot of my NFL news. I'm paying attention to these guys and what they have to say.
Good stuff.
I believe Ian Rappaport when he says he has sources that have told him this. And with all that said, I'm not buying this at this particular juncture. I'm really not. And here's why. When I first was informed of this news given to us by Ian Rappaport, I thought I was going to be hearing a little bit more definitive stuff from these guys. Matt Rule, the new coach, Mr. 7 years, $60 million. He said some nice things at the Combine. Among them, he expects Cam Newton to be on the roster in 2020. Is that so? Expect him to be on the roster. I'm sorry. I'm going to need a little bit more. I need what I would like to hear, and maybe I'll believe if you say this. Pending health, Cam Newton's going to be our starting quarterback. I mean, that's what I'd like to hear. I need to hear something with some actual substance and juice behind it. And that's not what I get. The only thing that matters right now is getting him healthy. I would love to coach him. You would love to coach him. How about I am looking forward to coaching Cam Newton? I mean, give me something. If he doesn't have full control in this matter, then I don't blame him. But then we got to look at executives. We got to look at the GM, who is, I still believe, Marty Herney. I don't think Dave Tepper kicked him out the door yet. But
not yet, anyway.
I just need to hear a little bit more, and just all the things that I've seen from new. You look at new ownership. You look at Ron Rivera getting dismissed the way that he was let go, and I've said from the beginning this goes back to week 2 of last season when we were talking about Cam Newton's health and how he looked against Tampa Bay on that Thursday night football game, and how it just appeared Cam Newton and Ron Rivera started this thing back in 2011 together. And it just got the feel if one of them is going to go, I have felt from then on out, both of them would go. And Matt Rule, you look at a rookie head coach who has no ties to Cam Newton whatsoever. The current GM didn't draft Cam Newton. Obviously, you've had an ownership change. The Panthers have no ties to Cam Newton whatsoever. They can, you talk about Cam Newton, he's not a great trade candidate right now because his health is, even though he's supposedly improving, it's still a question mark because that's been the question mark the past 2 seasons with Cam. So he's not an attractive trade commodity, but you can still cut him and save $19 million in cap space. And oh, by the way, back to the rookie head coaching point. If Matt Rule and the Panthers indeed do elect to keep Cam Newton, then to me, what that does for you is it creates expectations immediately. And I mean, Matt Rule he's got 7 years to get this thing done. Why set yourself up for immediate expectations? And I'm talking playoffs. If you're telling me Cam Newton's going to be your quarterback, I need to see you guys back in the playoffs. But when you look at it, when you look at the questionable health of Cam Newton, and you look at how you've lost some big pieces on this team now. Let's think about it. Greg Olson's now gone, signed with the Seattle Seahawks. We just saw Luke Kuechly retire. Thomas Davis heading out the door last year to the Chargers. They lost a lot of juice on this football team. I get it. Christian McCaffrey's an all-world running back. I like DJ Moore as your number 1 receiver. But if we're really honest about this thing, can we really remember the time where Cam Newton has had a core of weaponry that we're like, oh, yeah, man, the Panthers are loaded this year on offense. They got Greg Olson out there. They normally have one wide receiver who we can put some respect on his name, and you do have a great running back now. But by and large, you look at what he's surrounded with on the offensive side of the ball. You look at his offensive line; it's normally solid, but it's not all that impressive. At the end of the day, at this stage in the game, and oh, by the way, I've heard this time of year referred to as lying season for many, many years now, with the combine and the draft and free agency and all these different things that's going on. And let's not forget, Carolina holds the number 7 overall pick, right behind two other quarterback needy teams in the Chargers and the Dolphins. To me, this could be some tactic to kind of set those teams at ease a little bit and say, okay, if I'm Miami, I only got to worry about the Chargers now, because the Panthers out there, they're going to move on with Cam. Or the Dolphins, they only got to be worried about the Chargers, or, vice versa. So you might not be thinking about the Panthers right now, but the Lions and Giants are two teams right now that are in a good position because they at this point have their quarterbacks, or so they think. We'll see how it goes. But there's definitely two teams in the Chargers and the Dolphins that are looking for quarterbacks. Carolina's another team that I would not rule them out as trading up to get a quarterback. I mean, we were trying to concoct something where they traded all the way up to number 1 to get Joe Burrow. I don't think when I look at ownership, when I look at coaching, I don't think Cam Newton is the guy going forward, despite of what I've heard from Matt Rule and, of course, the reporting from Ian Rappaport.
All right. So the question is, do I believe Cam Newton will be the Panthers starting quarterback next season? So let me think about this. I'm gonna get short and sweet, and we're going to get to the point. Here's the deal. The owner came out and endorsed that he's going to be the quarterback next year. Check. No. The GM came out and endorsed he was going to check. No. The head coach has a reputation of working with veteran quarterbacks and, rebuilding their careers and turning them around. Check. No. No, the offensive coordinator, he didn't work with all types of veterans, and he know how to get the best out of your skill set over time because he didn't work with so many veterans.
That's another great point. When you talk about Joe Brady and the old air raid offense at LSU,
but
does that
hold on. Let me finish my thought. All right, check. Oh, well, Cam Newton still got his number 1 target over the last 5 years, right? Check. So I just much respect to Aaron Rappaport, like you said, but all signs just tell me something else. Now, before I get to my next point, I'll let you say what you need to say.
Yeah, that was another great point that I forgot to mention. When you talk about you're bringing in Joe Brady, who we saw him at LSU last year with the air raid offense and all those great things, just throwing the ball all over the yard. He worked for the New Orleans Saints last time I checked before then, with Drew Brees and all the great things they do. This is a downfield passing type offense and predominantly passing. It's not one of those things where you look at them and say, oh, yeah, it's a great mix of run and pass. I don't see that. So unless you're telling me that Joe Brady and the Panthers are all of a sudden going to magically transform Cam Newton into a pocket passer, which I don't think is a terrible idea because I do think that would set him up for success in terms of his health. But predominantly, we've seen Cam Newton at his best. His legs are a huge part of his game and his ability to run with the football in between the tackles. If you're telling me the Panthers are going to all of a sudden recreate their offense for this guy, I mean, I guess I could get down with it, but I just don't see that happening.
All right, so back to my checklist. So I go down my checklist, right? And I checked all that, and none of that really applied to this current situation, right? It leads me to think this. What I think the Panthers are doing, and this correlates with what Jay said about Lions season, they're trying to up Cam Newton's value. I would not be surprised in a month or so I hear, well, Cam Newton is 100% better. The feet is ready to go, baby. We're going to put him on a trade block. And then some team, rolled the dice because he's not that expensive. And they come and get a 1-year rental and they see how they go down. We seen 1-year rentals. They pop. Sometimes they don't. This is what I see. I am under a strong belief that the Panthers will draft a quarterback. Why? because I just gave you the checklist. You got the head coach, unseasoned, coming out of college football. Oh, so who think they know college football quarterbacks better than Matt Rule? You got the offensive coordinator that just took a quarterback that threw 14 touchdowns one year to throwing 60 touchdowns the following year. Oh, so who think they can mold a young quarterback better than Joe Brady? I have to believe these dudes. Matt Rule have a 7-year contract, so maybe he can sit around and BS and roll the dice a little bit. Joe Brady don't have that. Oh, and who else probably don't have it? That GM up there. I didn't hear about his 7-year contract either. So this owner has made it. He has made it known. He ain't taking the bull crap. He's cutting the riffraff. Hey, I'm on the Keo diet. Hey, I'm not going with the bull crap. You dig? If you ain't cutting it, I'm getting you out of here because I don't want none of that Jerry Richardson crap around here. I'm coming in hot. You dig? So with all that said, I just don't Cam Newton's style of play, just like Jay mentioned, it just doesn't fit what they're trying to do no more. I just don't see it. The NFL is about throwing the ball, chucking it all over the field. Cam Newton he was the hottest thing smoking when he was coming out of college, and he had an incredible career. I'm not trying to dump on Cam Newton. Cam Newton is good. He done his thing. He's a former MVP. He done played in the Super Bowl. Maybe he would have died on that football. That's neither here nor there. But listen, his time has passed at Carolina. Now, would I be remiss to say, listen, if they get a guy one more year, kudos to the Panthers. Kudos to the Panthers. Do I see it happening? Absolutely not. I just don't. I just see them trying to build up his profile to trade him away to, get something else. I just don't see it. And until the owner, because let me be clear, the owner has said this on multiple occasions. Yeah, we'll talk about that when he get healthy, when the doctor say he's healthy. Well, what about Cam? Yeah. When he get healthy, that's something we're going to look into. When the doctor say he's clear. But Cam Newton said, yeah, when he's clear to play, we'll go back and evaluate it. He done made it clear. He keep telling you this for a reason. You're not going to corner him into agreeing to something that he don't want to agree to. He's telling you, like, yeah, okay, sure. He'll be playing when he get healthy. But really what he's saying, in so many words, Cam Newton, when he get healthy, he's probably going to be wearing another jersey. Just holler at your boy. So, yeah, I'm not buying this one. Hey, much love to, those guys. I never want to disrespect the guys that's on that level doing what they do. But, this one does, make my back itch a little bit and I can't reach it. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, so I guess I have a little bit of a different perspective on this. And I'm just going to come at it from more of a business perspective, I guess. I think when you look at the thing with Cam right now, the main issue, I think if the Panthers are going to go down the road where they do keep him, and I agree with what y'all said. You make a lot of points and reasons why this probably needs to be cut off from. But if I'm the Panthers and I got my big whiteboard up, I'm going, what are we going to do at the quarterback position? Cam Newton is on currently, despite signing a 5-year, over $100 million contract a while back. His salary going into this season is the cheapest starter on a non-rookie contract that isn't like a Bridgewater type, like mostly career backup guy. Like if you ranked all the guys that have started multiple seasons, he's on the cheapest contract. He's $21 million in your cap. Nick Foles makes more than that. I mean, Andy Dalton, I think, is the only one that would make less than that, and he's like right there at 19 or 20. So money-wise, yeah, sure, okay, you can cut $19 million, but then you're forced to go spend your premium draft capital on a guy or go, test the waters of free agency. We know that there's a couple veteran guys out there, your Rivers and Brady's, you can go kick the tires on. But, like, if I'm going to go that route, if I'm going to go the aging free agent route, I mean, would I rather just have the guy that's already been in my system, already knows the team, already knows what's going on, and has done well for my franchise, or am I going to go try to like pull in Rivers or Brady and just hope they can get it done for a year? I mean, if I'm going to go out and overpay for a veteran, I might as well just keep what I've got and save a little bit of cash, and if I'm going to go out to the draft at 7, it's hard to imagine they're going to get the guy they want. We know that unless some crazy stuff happens, Joe Burrow is going to be gone. Tua is very likely to be gone. So maybe you get Justin Herbert if you're lucky, but how likely are the Chargers or the Dolphins to put Herbert on the shelf for the future? So then I'm down to Jake Fromm, Jordan Love, I don't know about all this. Like, if I'm Matt Rule and don't have a pick that can guarantee me the quarterback I want in the draft, and I'm not going to go to trade the entire farm to move up in the draft to get who I actually want, it does make some sense to bring back Cam. You know, in 2018, before he got hurt, 67.9% completion percentage. He threw 24 touchdowns, and the completion percentage was much higher than his averages for his career. You know, so he's still proving that, hey, I can learn some new stuff, and in the right system with the right pieces, I can still be a very valuable quarterback to somebody. And you know, you've got some weapons, not like Jay pretty much lined it up. You don't have a ton of weapons. You got to get better. But if you're spending premium money of your picks or premium cap space, which you have 34 million of, so you'd have a little bit more to go get another guy, how much better can you make your offense around a brand new quarterback versus keeping what you got that you know is good when he's healthy, and then going out and trying to build the team around him? So I guess that you look at it from the perspective of, are we going to purposely restart everything and just do a whole new thing, or are we going to try to make the best decision to win right now? And hey, if you can go 5-7 with Kyle Allen throwing to these dudes, I think Cam Newton could win you a couple more games than that if he's actually healthy. So that's kind of how I look at it if I'm the Panthers, and that's why I think there's a chance that there's some validity to these reports. But again, if they're trying to church him up just for trade value, I could see that too. But there is some sense to it, I think, from the business side of it.